Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving into a really unique personal story. It's about the evolution of intimacy, about shared desires, and maybe some paths in relationships that you just don't foresee.
Exactly. We've got this incredibly candid account from a couple detailing their journey step by step from what sounds like, marital monotony right into embracing some pretty unconventional experiences.
Right. And our mission today is to really unpack every detail of this narrative. We
Yeah.
want to understand the motivations, what drove them,
hmm
and the unexpected turns their path took, and of course the huge impact these experiences had on them as individuals.
It's a fascinating look at how curiosity, maybe communication or lack thereof sometimes, and just a willingness to step outside the usual boundaries can totally redefine a relationship.
Absolutely. So get ready because we're going to explore all of that. The genesis of change,
Yeah.
from monotony to online exploration. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. We're talking about Olivia. She's 38, described as attractive, fair-haired. And her husband, Michael, he's 39, handsome, dark-haired, quite tall, 1.85 meters.
Right. And they've been married for 12 years. They have a little boy, 4 years old. Olivia herself calls it a beautiful family life.
Yeah, on the surface, it sounds pretty idyllic, doesn't it? A stable family built on love. There's a really key detail here, especially for Olivia's journey, her sexual history. She explicitly says Michael was her first. She lost her virginity to him. No prior sexual experiences at all.
That's a really significant starting point. It frames everything that follows, her
Right.
perspective, her potential boundaries.
Exactly, because even in what seem like loving, maybe even perfect marriages, that routine, that monotony can creep in. It happens,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, absolutely. It's a very common challenge in long-term relationships. What's fascinating here is that they acknowledge the monotony. Many couples just sort of let it slide.
Or try the usual things, maybe date nights or
Right. Therapy, trying to schedule intimacy, which doesn't always work.
yeah.
But Olivia and Michael, they didn't just ignore it or try the conventional fixes. They actively sought something different.
And it was Michael who initiated it, wasn't it? He was looking for fun and excitement to spice things up.
Yes. And their method was quite collaborative, actually, at least initially. They spent their free time together researching suitable fantasies online.
Together. That's interesting in itself. It wasn't one person secretly looking.
No, it was a joint project from the start,
hmm
which suggests, a certain level of trust and openness already, even if things felt monotonous.
But for Olivia, given her background, her limited experience, this must have been a huge leap. The account mentions specific terms she wasn't familiar with.
Right. Things like swinger, partner exchange,
hmm
threesome, group sex, and crucially, cuckold.
Okay, let's pause on cuckold for a second. For listeners who might not know, can you briefly explain that dynamic? Because it becomes pretty central later on.
Sure. So, in the context they're exploring, the cuckold fantasy typically involves a man deriving sexual pleasure from his female partner being sexual with another man.
Hmm.
Often there's an element of watching, voyeurism, sometimes even humiliation or power exchange, though it varies a lot.
Got it. So for Olivia, learning these terms, it wasn't just new words, it was whole new concepts, potentially challenging ones.
Absolutely. A completely different world opening up. And then Michael suggests the next step, a joint social media account.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Olivia, despite not knowing these terms well, despite feeling, as she put it, not very enthusiastic about the social media idea, she agrees.
He does.
Talk about stepping into the unknown. What does the initial agreement, even with reluctance, tell us? Is it trust? Curiosity? Something else?
It's likely a mix of things. There's clearly trust in Michael, but it also hints at maybe an underlying curiosity. She wasn't even fully aware of herself yet.
Yeah.
You know?
Like a dormant part of her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have curiosities we haven't named or explored. Her agreeing, even hesitantly, shows a commitment to him, to the relationship, and maybe, just maybe, a tiny flicker of what if for herself. It raises that question, doesn't it? What's the tipping point between discomfort and curiosity?
A really fine line.
Yeah. And her crossing it, even reluctantly, is the first major step on this path.
So they create this joint account, and at first they're just watching.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Spectators, following other married couples, looking at their photos, watching their videos. Passive consumption, essentially.
But it had an immediate effect, didn't it? The account says they started applying what they saw to their own sex life.
Right away, it led to passionate moments, she says. So there was this immediate positive feedback. This thing they were doing, this digital exploration, it was actually working, reigniting something between them.
Okay, so that's reinforcement right there.
Definitely. But then, after about 2 months, just watching wasn't enough anymore.
And who pushes for the next step?
Olivia, which is remarkable, considering her initial hesitation. She suggests they post their photos, their beautiful photos, on the page.
Wow. From reluctant participant to content creator.
Exactly. And Michael, he agrees instantly. The account says it was like he was waiting for her to suggest it.
Ah, so maybe he didn't want to push her too far, too fast.
Seems likely. They post their pictures, and the reactions come pouring in. Many likes, but also, predictably, very harsh comments.
Right, the internet being the internet.
But here's the twist. They both enjoyed reading the comments. All of them. The good and the bad.
Both. Even the harsh ones, why?
It seems the attention itself was exciting, but it gets more specific, especially for Michael. Olivia notes the comments from men saying they desired her, wanted to screw her, that drove her husband wild.
Okay, so that cuckold element we talked about, it's becoming very explicit now, at least in terms of Michael's arousal.
Absolutely. It wasn't just general exhibitionism. It was specifically the idea of other men wanting Olivia that excited him. And this excitement translated directly back into their own intimacy.
No, so.
She says Michael became even more passionate, more eager after reading those comments. Their own sexual encounters became more intense.
So the digital world wasn't just a stage, it was actively fueling their private life. That external validation, even from strangers, sometimes negative strangers, it had a real tangible effect.
It's a fascinating look at how external perception can influence internal dynamics. It's not just about the sex acts themselves, but about feeling desired, seeing your partner desired. For them, it tapped into something powerful. It introduced that cuckold dynamic subtly at first, through Michael's enjoyment, even before any physical interaction with others occurred.
But even with all this new heat, Michael kept asking something, didn't he?
Yes, repeatedly. Before they had sex, he'd ask Olivia, "Are a threesome or partner exchange among your fantasies?"
And she kept saying no.
Consistently. Her line was, "I couldn't be with anyone else but him." But, and this is a crucial but, she also acknowledged she enjoyed being desired by others.
Ah, so there's the tension. Loyalty versus the thrill of being wanted.
Exactly. It's a subtle crack in her resistance. She holds the line verbally, but admits to enjoying the very thing Michael's fantasy is tapping into. It plants a seed, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Even if she's not consciously watering it yet.
That repeated question, though, does that repetition itself start to normalize the idea over time? Even if you keep saying no?
It absolutely can. It keeps the concept present, makes it less out there, less taboo just by being discussed.
Yeah.
It's a kind of slow desensitization, maybe allowing her subconscious to catch up, even while her conscious mind is saying, no way.
Yeah.
It definitely kept the possibility alive. 2, the unveiling. A glimpse into Michael's unexpressed desires.
Okay, so this tension is simmering. Michael wants more, Olivia says no, but enjoys the attention. And then comes this pivotal moment, an accident. Or maybe not entirely.
Right. Michael leaves an unsent message visible on their joint account.
Phew.
Big oops. Olivia sees it, and her reaction. She swallowed her tongue. Just stopped dead.
What was in the message? Who was it to?
It was a conversation with another couple, Jason and Autumn. They live in New York, similar ages, married, kids, described as cultured and well-groomed.
So people like them in a way.
Seemingly, yes.
Yeah.
And the content of the messages, it laid everything bare.
No more hinting.
Zero hinting. Michael wrote explicitly that they don't do partner exchange because Olivia doesn't want it, but, and this is the kicker, he really wants it.
Oh, just puts it out there.
Puts it all out there, and it gets more detailed. Autumn apparently expressed a strong attraction to Michael and Jason. He explicitly wanted to screw Olivia.
Okay.
But the core reveal was Michael's specific fantasy. He wrote that he would very much like for Jason to screw Olivia.
Right.
And for them to watch. Michael and Autumn, presumably, watching Jason and Olivia.
So not just partner exchange, it's the watching, the cuckold dynamic, fully formed.
Explicitly. This wasn't a vague curiosity anymore. It was a detailed scenario. A huge moment of revelation for Olivia, understanding the exact nature and depth of Michael's interest.
How did Jason and Autumn react in the messages?
Well, Jason proposed a plan. He suggested that he and Autumn would work together to convince Olivia.
Okay, so they're actively planning to persuade her.
Yes. But here's the most fascinating part. Olivia's reaction to reading all this. You'd expect maybe shock, anger, betrayal.
Right, that seems like the default.
But no. The account says she was very excited by reading it, excited by the messages, by the thought of someone desiring her so explicitly.
Whoa, that is unexpected. A complete turnaround from, I couldn't be with anyone else.
A monumental shift. And what does she do? Does she confront Michael?
I'm guessing no.
Nope. She decides to pretend she knew nothing and just wait and see how they would convince her.
So she's not a victim here at all. She's intrigued. She's in the game now, playing her own hand.
Exactly. This shows the power of that underlying desire. Once the fantasy became real, tangible, involving her specifically, it flipped a switch. Her decision to play along, to wait to be convinced, it's a massive shift in her agency. She's no longer just reacting, she's anticipating, maybe even participating in the setup.
It's like she's testing them, testing herself too, maybe.
Possibly. It's a complex reaction, but it clearly shows she's now an active participant in this unfolding drama, not just someone things are happening to. 3. The setup. A dinner invitation with hidden agendas.
Okay, so Olivia knows the plan, knows Michael's true desire, knows Jason and Autumn are supposed to convince her, and she's waiting. What happens next?
The very next day, Michael calls her, says a friend from work and his wife are coming for dinner that evening.
Well, let me guess.
You got it. He names them, Jason and Autumn.
And Olivia just plays along.
Perfectly. Maintains her cover. Okay, let them come. I'll prepare a nice meal, she says. Just like that. Complete composure.
Wow. The dramatic irony is thick enough to cut with a knife. Michael thinks he's setting his plan in motion.
While Olivia is already several steps ahead, fully aware of the script. It sets up this incredible tension for the evening, knowing she knows.
And her preparation for this dinner, it wasn't just about the food, was it?
Not at all. This was about making a statement, taking control. Her internal thought was clear. Her husband had set his mind on having someone else screw her. If they had a plan, she had a plan too.
A plan too. Okay, so what did she do?
She went all out. Hairdresser, waxing, hairstyle, manicure, pedicure, full works.
Getting ready for battle?
Or seduction?
Maybe both. And her choice of clothes was very deliberate. A deep cleavage, black mini dress.
Making a statement.
A huge statement. The description is vivid. Her breasts were standing erect and visible as if they would enter the other person's mouth. She wasn't just dressing up, she was weaponizing her appearance, perhaps. Or maybe fully embracing the role she knew they wanted her to play, but on her own terms.
It's an act of empowerment, in a way. Taking control of how she's perceived in this scenario. Precisely. It shifts her from potentially being the object of a plan to being a central, powerful force within it. She's meeting their unspoken agenda with her own very visible, deliberate presentation. It's a silent challenge, maybe, or an invitation.
So the guests arrive. What's the reaction?
Immediate impact. Michael's jaw dropped when he saw Olivia, and the guests, Jason and Autumn, were a bit open-mouthed.
So mission accomplished on her part. Her efforts landed.
Definitely. And Autumn, interestingly, was dressed similarly. A cleavage-showing blouse and a miniskirt, like Olivia.
Ah, so a visual parallel, an unspoken agreement almost.
It certainly creates that feeling, like everyone's dialed into the same frequency, even without saying it. And Jason, described as very handsome and pointedly his bulging penis visible through his jeans.
Okay, subtle as a brick. The sexual tension is just out there now.
Completely overt. No hiding the undercurrents anymore. The visual cues upon arrival set the tone immediately. The tension must have been immense.
So they have dinner. How does that play out?
After introductions, the nonverbal communication ramps up. Olivia notices Autumn and Jason staring at her long enough to be noticeable.
Not just quick glances.
No, sustained attention, especially from Jason. She says he watched her the entire meal, intently.
And Olivia's reading this as...
She was sure of his intention, felt he was impatient to screw her as soon as possible.
Wow. So the whole meal is just the simmering pot of anticipation, communicated entirely through look.
Exactly. It's psychological foreplay, building the tension, making the unspoken desires almost tangible before anything physical even happens. Everyone knows what everyone else is thinking, or at least they think they do. It normalizes the agenda, makes it feel inevitable. 4. The escalation, from subtle touches to explicit acts.
Okay, dinner's over, the glances have been exchanged. Where does it go next?
Things move to the kitchen. Olivia is clearing the table, and Autumn joins her, trying to be intimate. Olivia allows this.
Allows it. Okay, so she's actively participating in the escalation now.
Seems so. Then JC comes in with plates. The kitchen is small, space is tight.
Conveniently.
Right, and he leaned against her from behind a few times while putting the plates down. The first physical contact.
And Olivia's reaction.
Internally. very excited.
Mm.
She specifically notes it was the first time a penis other than her husband's had touched her, even with clothes on.
A significant boundary crossed, even through clothes.
A huge one for her.
Huh.
And crucially, this is all happening in front of Autumn.
So no secrets, everyone's aware.
Fully aware. Then comes a tactical move. Olivia mentions Michael is alone in the living room. Autumn immediately says, "Oh, I'll go keep him company."
Smooth.
Olivia does a token protest, no. But Autumn leaves anyway, leaving Olivia and Jason alone in the small kitchen.
The pressure cooker, like you said.
Exactly. And Jason doesn't waste the opportunity. He keeps helping her, but he's also peeping at her breasts and rubbing against her from behind whenever he found an opportunity.
So it's escalating quickly now, from acts unassuming bumps to deliberate rubbing and looking.
Yes. It's a gradual erosion of personal space, a clear testing of boundaries, moving from the nonverbal to the clearly physical. And Olivia's internal excitement shows she's receptive, even if outwardly she might still be playing slightly reserved. Autumn's exit feels very much like part of the plan, creating the space for this next stage.
Right. So they eventually return to the living room. What's the scene there?
Michael and Autumn are sitting very close, deep in conversation, and Michael's gaze locked on Autumn's full breasts.
Okay, so he's fully engaged too.
Oh, yeah. The seating arranges itself. Olivia next to Michael, Jason next to Autumn. A clear pairing off.
And the conversations?
It shifts.
Mm.
Jason and Autumn start openly talking about sexuality, about their sex lives, making the atmosphere, as Olivia describes it, much softer, more open.
Explicitly paving the way.
Precisely. It's verbal permission almost.
Yeah.
Normalizing the topic, lowering inhibitions, signaling that the main event is imminent. The anticipation is probably at its peak now.
And then the moment arrives. How does it happen?
Suddenly, shockingly almost, Autumn suddenly unzipped Jason, takes his penis in her mouth, and just started giving him head. Right there.
Wow, no more ambiguity.
None whatsoever. Point of no return. And Olivia, she just watches, without blinking, completely transfixed.
And the account gives details about Jason's penis.
Yes, quite explicitly. Olivia knows it was a large penis, as written in his profile, stating it was both thick and long, around 19 centimeters.
And she immediately compares it to Michael's.
Instantly. She describes Michael's as thin and not very big, self-reported at 15 centimeters. This comparison seems significant for her.
And her internal reaction to seeing Jason's penis live?
She notes it was the first time she had seen a live penis other than her husband's, and she liked it very much. That phrase, liked it very much. It's simple but powerful. It's a huge admission. The novelty, the difference, the forbidden aspect, perhaps. It's immediately appealing to her on a visceral level. This act breaks the final dam of social convention.
So Olivia's watching, clearly intrigued. Does Michael notice?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
He sees her focus and directly encourages her. He says, "You couldn't take your eyes off Olivia. If you want to, you can join them."
Giving her explicit permission, even pushing her.
Yes. But Olivia's immediate reaction is still one of feigned shock or resistance. "Nonsense, Michael," she says, and to the couple, "Friends, what are you doing?"
Keeping up the pretense, maybe? Or genuinely feeling a flicker of, this is really happening.
Could be both. But Autumn, described as experienced and very relaxed, just brushes it off. "Don't be shy, Olivia. Come on. Such an opportunity doesn't come around often."
A direct invitation.
And then they act on it.
Hmm?
Jason and Autumn get up, come over to Olivia, who's still sitting. Jason stands right in front of her, his erect penis literally nose to nose with her face.
Overwhelming.
Definitely. Olivia describes feeling paralyzed with shame despite thinking it was a very beautiful and large penis. She doesn't know what to do. There's still that conflict.
But the situation doesn't wait for her to decide, does it?
No. She glances over, sees Autumn already performing oral sex on Michael. So both men are now engaged. And before Olivia can say anything more,
Jason acts.
decisively, he swiftly shoved his penis into her mouth, just like that, and declares, "Time to talk is over. Now it's time for fun."
Wow. That is direct, assertive, almost forceful in a way.
Yeah.
It bypasses her hesitation completely.
It does. It resolves her internal conflict externally, the pressure, the seduction, the fact that her husband is also participating. It all culminates in this moment where her verbal resistance is simply overridden by direct physical action. Plunging her, quite literally, into the experience, no turning back now. Full immersion. The experience and its profound impact.
So Jason takes that decisive action. Olivia finds herself with his penis in her mouth. What happens? Does she resist, pull away?
Quite the opposite. Her immediate response, according to the account, is she started licking and sucking the penis in her mouth, instinctively almost.
Not just accepting it, but participating.
and enthusiastically. She describes herself as licking so eagerly that she actually had a moment of self-reproach like, whoa! She admits to herself she'd never licked her husband's penis like that.
That's a huge realization in the moment.
Massive. It leads her to question herself. Is something wrong with me? Was Michael right about these fantasies? It's a real crisis of her previous self-perception.
But despite the questioning, the pleasure was real.
Undeniably. She states clearly, even though Michael is her husband, whom she loves very much, she really enjoyed licking Jason's penis. Her focus became entirely on him, on the act. She no longer looked at Autumn or her husband.
Just lost in the sensation.
Completely.
Yeah.
And Jason responded physically, his penis becoming rock hard, so much so it didn't fit in her mouth.
This is such a raw moment of self-discovery for her. The physical pleasure is just undeniable, and it's challenging everything she thought she knew about herself in her marriage.
It's that aha moment we talked about. The contrast in pleasure, the self-questioning. It's her processing this incredibly intense new experience that completely defies her old rules. It suggests a deeper, maybe unacknowledged desire for something different. Maybe novelty, maybe intensity, maybe just this.
The exploration continued beyond oral sex, right?
After she stopped, Jason lay her down, took off her underwear, and started licking her vagina.
And again, the comparison comes up.
Immediately, she notes her husband would sometimes lick her vagina too, but she couldn't remember ever enjoying it this much.
Another confirmation that this experience is hitting differently, providing a new level of pleasure.
Exactly. It reinforces that this isn't just about novelty, it's about experiencing pleasure in a way, or at an intensity she hadn't before, or perhaps hadn't allowed herself to before. It's unlocking something profound within her.
Okay, so then comes intercourse. How is that described?
Jason penetrates her slowly, but there's difficulty because of his size. His penis was so big that they both struggled as it entered her.
A physical reality check of the difference she noted earlier.
Yes. After a brief pause, he started screwing her. And for Olivia, the context was as powerful as the act itself.
What do you mean?
She describes the feeling of having sex with someone else in the same room in front of her husband as an incredible feeling. The psychological dimension was huge.
So the taboo, the presence of her husband, it amplified the experience rather than inhibiting it.
Absolutely. It became part of the thrill. And the sex itself was intense. Jason apparently screwed her for more than half an hour, putting her in position after position. Olivia says she couldn't even count how many times she orgasmed.
Just completely overwhelmed by pleasure.
Utterly. And then came the peak moment, the toast position, as she calls it.
Explain that.
Jason was on the bottom, Olivia was on top of him, facing him, and Michael entered her from behind in her ass.
Whoa. Simultaneous penetration.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She notes she was familiar with anal sex with Michael. They'd done it for years.
Yeah.
But having it happen simultaneously from both front and back at the same time was unbelievable for her.
Combining a familiar act with Michael with the new experience with Jason in the most intense way possible.
Yes. And her internal reaction in that moment, pure gratitude. She thanked her husband inside and enjoyed these pleasurable moments.
Thanked him after all her initial resistance.
It's a stunning turnaround. It shows how completely the experience transformed her perspective in the moment. This wasn't a betrayal. It felt like a gift, a shared peak experience facilitated by her husband. It truly redefined everything for her.
This goes so far beyond just trying something new. It's a complete immersion, physically and emotionally.
It truly is the deep dive. The toast position encapsulates that total surrender to the shared fantasy, breaking down all boundaries. Her gratitude signifies she didn't just endure it, she embraced it and found profound pleasure and connection within it, both with Jason and, paradoxically, through Michael's participation.
Did the night end there?
Oh no. They kept screwing until late at night. It was a cycle. Intense sex, orgasm, ejaculation, a short rest, and then they'd start again.
A marathon. Was it just Olivia and Jason?
No, Michael and Autumn were also having a good time. The account mentions Autumn also experienced the toast position, suggesting a mirroring of the intense experiences across the couples.
So mutual enjoyment all around.
It seems so. Eventually, everyone was exhausted. The guests initially intended to leave, but Olivia and Michael offered them the guest bedroom.
Then they accepted.
They did. Which suggests the experience was positive enough that staying over felt comfortable, natural even, despite the intensity, or perhaps because of it. It points to a successful fulfillment of the fantasy for everyone involved. 6. The aftermath, reflection and renewed intimacy.
Okay, so the guests stay over. Olivia and Michael finally retire to their own room. What happens between them? Is it awkward? Tense?
Not at all, according to the account. They talked in bed. And Olivia makes this absolutely stunning confession.
What does she say?
She tells Michael, completely reversing her long-held stance, "You were so right. I wish we had done the partner exchange fantasy earlier."
Wow. A full 180. No regrets. Only regret that it didn't happen sooner.
Exactly. The experience didn't just make her accept it. It made her embrace it wholeheartedly, fundamentally shifting her perspective on her own desires and the possibilities within their relationship. It's the ultimate validation for Michael, but more importantly, a profound self-revelation for Olivia.
How does such a deeply ingrained belief system get overturned so completely by one night?
Sometimes an experience is just that powerful. When something visceral, intensely pleasurable, and perhaps psychologically liberating resonates so deeply, it can overwrite years of conditioning or previously held beliefs. It's experiential learning at its most potent. The reality of the pleasure and connection she felt simply outweighed her previous conceptual boundaries.
And the impact wasn't just on her view of partner exchange, was it? It affected her intimacy with Michael directly.
This is perhaps the most crucial takeaway. Despite the marathon night, despite the exhaustion, they were still horny in their bed.
Even after all that.
Apparently so. Michael screwed her one more time. And Olivia declares something remarkable. It was the first time she had experienced such passionate sex with her husband.
The first time after 12 years of marriage. More passionate than ever before.
That's what she says. So the experience with Jason and Autumn didn't detract from her bond with Michael. It somehow amplified it, unlocked a new level of passion between them.
That's counterintuitive to how many people might think this would play out.
It often is. But for some couples, sharing such intense, boundary-pushing experiences, navigating that vulnerability together, can forge an even stronger connection. It introduces novelty, shared adventure, radical honesty about desires. It seemed to have supercharged their own intimacy.
So it fulfilled Michael's fantasy and revitalized their core relationship. A double win, as you said earlier.
It certainly appears that way from Olivia's perspective. It suggests that exploring his fantasy didn't break them. It actually deepened their connection in unexpected ways.
What happened the next morning? Was it weird?
Apparently not. Everyone had a nice breakfast together. It sounds surprisingly normal, considering the night before.
And they made plans to meet again.
Yes, they promised to meet again, which clearly indicates this wasn't seen as a one-off mistake or experiment, but as the beginning of something new. A new chapter had definitively opened. It suggests the experience was fundamentally positive and integrated well, at least initially, for all four of them. It wasn't just a wild night. It was potentially a sustainable shift in their relationships.
What an incredible journey we've followed today. Seriously, from that quiet sense of marital routine, that monotony they talked about, all the way to this explosive, boundary-shattering exploration of intimacy and desire. It's quite something.
It really is.
Yeah.
Seeing how that initial online search, just looking for some excitement, spiraled into this incredibly complex interplay of unspoken fantasies, deliberate strategies, hidden knowledge.
And ultimately, a profound transformation, especially for Olivia, but seemingly for their marriage, too.
Definitely. What really stands out is that idea of confronting comfort zones, doesn't it? And how surprisingly powerful external validation, even from strangers online, can be in shaping how a couple feels about each other.
Yeah, and how these shared experiences, even ones that seem really unconventional from the outside, can completely redefine pleasure and, maybe paradoxically, even strengthen the original bond.
It challenges so many assumptions we have about fidelity, about boundaries. For this couple, at least in this account, pushing those boundaries together seemed to lead to a deeper connection, not a rupture.
It really underscores the importance of communication, or maybe the consequences when direct communication about deep desires is difficult, leading to secret messages and elaborate setups.
True, but also the power of curiosity and that willingness, however hesitant at first, to understand and even engage with a partner's deepest, perhaps darkest, fantasies.
This deep dive really shows that intimacy isn't static, is it? It's this evolving landscape.
Absolutely. And for some, maybe not all, but for some, that landscape benefits from some courageous exploration, some venturing off the marked trails.
It's a powerful reminder that curiosity, if you approach it with trust and openness, hopefully more direct openness than we saw initially here, it can uncover really unexpected dimensions of pleasure and connection.
Yeah, leading to a much bigger understanding of yourself and your partner. Recognizing that desire is complex, it's multifaceted, and sometimes that real connection is found by stepping into the unknown together.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something to think about, a provocative thought perhaps. In what ways might exploring the uncharted territories of your own desires, or maybe the desires within your closest relationships safely, consensually, of course, lead to unexpected revelations about yourself and maybe even a renewed sense of connection?